All right, I am back. I am back. I am back. Welcome back to What She Said Sports, everybody. I know you can hear me because I can hear myself. How's everybody doing? If you missed us for the midday huddle, we had some good conversation about Andrew Berry getting his way. And I said, after the post-game press conference, I said, seems like Andrew Berry has motion with the organization after he went missing, after they try to make him the scapegoat instead of Stefanski, right? And today, y'all talked about it. Stefanski announced that Shedeur Sanders will be the starter for the 49ers game. Now, after last night's game, he was non-committal. And I said, I'm not surprised by that because why? Every time he says Dylan is going to do this or Dylan is going to do that or Flacco going to do this, he gets vetoed. Somebody changes and sends him back out there. And then what he said to happen doesn't happen. So he decided to be non-committal. And then what happened? Y'all said at his press conference today that Stefanski, said Shedeur is the starter. And then we heard that 47 rolled around for the second time and said, I told you so, right? So we talked about Trump being the one to say, I told you so, where Shedeur is concerned. Meaning he put out a post. And I told y'all, I was going to go look and see what happened first, what happened second, because the order of things matter. So I checked, right? So I asked the internet, I asked AI, Chat GPT, or whatever it is. I said, okay, Donald Trump posted about Shedeur, the win and being QB1 at 11:13 a.m. on Monday, November 24th, right? I told you so, etc. So that was Trump at 11 o'clock. So before noon or something like that. Then I went back and checked to see what time Stefanski made the announcement that Shedeur was going to be the starter. It says at 1 p.m. So what does that tell you? It should tell you this how Shedeur got drafted. It should tell you that, yes, Haslam forced Stefanski to announce that Shedeur is the starter, but who forced Haslam? What did Haslam say when he told us, he wasn't my pick? There was a call. All of the right people were in the room. And just like Stefanski got sent out here by Haslam to announce the starter for the game because there was a phone call. The same thing happened to Andrew Berry. So in both instances, Berry and Stefanski had to do what Haslam told them to do, not because of Haslam, because of 47. We've been saying this the whole way through. Shout out to some of y'all recognizing it in the comments. I saw your comments. Appreciate you. The whole way through, I told y'all Haslam did not pick Shedeur. I said it. After 47 posted, that's how he got drafted. And then when Adam Schefter tried to make Shedeur look dumb by saying he should have went to the Ravens or Philly, I said they was only saying he could go there because they have black other quarterbacks. So in the process of trying to find somewhere here for him to go, and I'm sure the phone call was like, you better draft him. I don't care where he go, but you better draft him. And that's what they thought they was going to do. But apparently he had a choice in the matter, and he chose Cleveland. And yes, Cleveland was pissed off on draft night because they was going to get Shedeur at number 2. So here you go. For those of you who are confused, no need to be confused. Trump came through at 11:33 a.m. It was announced at 1 o'clock. And y'all right. Stefanski didn't look happy about it because he not. He not happy about it because he got into this believing on draft night. What? Let's take a listen. I got the little draft photo, the little draft call. Let's just take a listen. What did he tell Shedeur? Let's just take a listen. And don't forget what Shedeur said after he bought that lady that car and then he got robbed. So let's just take a listen here. All right. This is the draft call. Let me make sure you can see it on my screen because it's important. The order of things, when the things take place, you got to always go back and look and see what happened first. Did somebody voluntarily do the right thing? No. They were forced into it. And it wasn't because Haslam liked Shedeur or Haslam know Coach Prime. No. It was 47. Both times. All right. So here we go. Let's see. All right.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Hey, I know it's been a long weekend. We're gonna take you off the floor here, all right, brother?
Yes, sir. Let's do it.
Hey, listen, you gotta come in, you gotta work hard, you gotta earn your job, earn your keep. It doesn't matter where you're taking, it matters what you do from this point forward, all right? Talented, I spent a lot of time with you, you're a good kid. Let's get ready to go to work and improve what we pass on. All right?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
All right, I got a coach here right now.
Yo,
What's up, coach?
good to see you, man.
Yes, sir. I'm excited to see you.
Remember I told you the Lord works in mysterious ways, right?
No, for sure.
Hey, we're going to get to work.
Yes,
I know.
sir.
It's an opportunity. We're going to get to work together, okay, buddy?
Beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing.
Okay, so that's that, right? That's that on that one. So you know you were reminded that what? Andrew Berry was you're talented, blah, 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 blah. So Andrew Berry admitted he's talented, right? Even though he said Shedeur's value was too high for the first round, and he has a retro style of QBing, which meant his skill set is not the desired skill set. It's classic. It's back in the day. We're not looking for that, right? But he did. He said he was talented. We spent a lot of time with you. Mary Cabot said the same thing. Well, y'all sure spent a lot of time with Shedeur. I was reading through my post again that Shedeur, somebody came out and said on a Browns insider was stunned when they drafted Shedeur and that he could end up on the practice squad. So when Shedeur said that 5 or 6 months ago, I didn't think I would be standing here, they didn't want him. And they didn't have no real plans for him other than they got him at a deep discount and the alternative use for the selection, draft capital. That's it. That's what it was going to be. Some people use the term he was going to redshirt. When you put those two together, the alternative use for the selection, he's going to outproduce his draft stock. Redshirt season. They were not planning to play him. Shedeur said it. I didn't think I would be standing here. He was already supposed to be. He was never supposed to be drafted by anybody. He was supposed to go undrafted. Then the phone call, the text message went out. Then they had to scramble to figure out who was going to do what. The Browns. So they put him back on the board. And then Andrew Berry had to trade 2 picks in the same round to get it. And here we are. He's QB1 for the second start. What were they saying last week about Shedeur? What were they saying? And I knew what they were saying, what they were expecting. They were saying, if Shedeur is terrible, then more likely than not, this is the only start he'll get for any team. And I said, that's BS. I was like, baby, do you not understand the pressure that 8 to 10 million people can bring? Because shout out to Tuna, reminded me, Shedeur has more than 6 million fans now. I'm like, you're right. How many you think? Because I'm going with 8 to 10 million. And don't forget the external people, the indirect support. Attorney Ben Crump spoke out and said some nice things. I say, oh, I hope that means he gonna sue. He talked about how they keep trying to move the goalposts when Black excellence arrives. And then as Black excellence begins to rise up, how they try to take them down. I was like, shout out to Attorney Ben Crump. I hope that means they're gonna sue one day. Because if things don't right, I'm pretty sure it will happen. So Shedeur wasn't even supposed to get drafted. Cleveland thought we pre-drafted him. We don't want him no more. We're going to get Dylan. They lied about Dylan. They lied about Shedeur. Instead, he wasn't talented. He wasn't good. Tried to make up stuff. Let him participate in a competition, but not let him gain the prize of being QB1, QB2. Cruelty was Kevin Stefanski's point. See, one thing about Berry that I can say is unlike Stefanski, Berry might have said his value was too high for the first round. And we don't know, right? We can sit down and say, well, that's not true. But cruelty was the point for Stefanski. Stefanski lied and said Dylan was better than Shedeur. Advised this team to get Dylan. And when Dylan didn't work out in training camp, still didn't give Shedeur the nod when Shedeur won a competition. Stefanski was being a fraud. We don't have a competition. They asked Stefanski at the press conferences, everybody gonna have a fair chance. Of course, everybody gonna have a fair chance. Did Shedeur have a fair chance? Nope. They had Kenny Pickett on the roster to suck up the reps. So guess what I said a couple of weeks ago? Guess what I said after we heard the draft call? Kevin Stefanski gonna find out just how mysterious God's ways are. And here we go right here. You could decide for yourself who the hell you think God gonna use. But you'll never know who God gonna use. This the second time. The second time. At a very pivotal moment where this young man did well. And after the game, Kevin Stefanski's press conference proved what? That he was going to keep rolling right on with Dylan, but he refused to say it out loud. So he thought he had better go check. It was a good thing he checked. Because imagine saying Dylan was going to be the starter, and today at 11:33, hello. So let's look at Stefanski's press conference today. You could see his posture is tense. You could see that he don't want this guy to succeed. Cam Newton was correct when he said that Kevin Stefanski does not want Shedeur to win. That fact that people tried to come out and use photo ops and use the fact that Shedeur took the initiative to learn from Stefanski. Even though Stefanski said in a press conference and he was asked about players coming to him so they could get in the game, meaning Shedeur. And he said, yeah, but you got to be where your feet are. And that's on the same day that Shedeur gave away or was filming the commercial or whatever it was, the presentation for the car or picking out a car or whatever. And what did Shedeur say right before he got robbed? When he was thanking God for the opportunity to be a blessing. God works in mysterious ways. And then Shedeur got robbed. If you go back and listen to that draft call, listen to Andrew Berry, listen to Stefanski, and then listen to Shedeur's response to each one of them. Stefanski, I told you God worked in mysterious ways. Was that a text message? Is that why his home got broken into? Because I maintain that because they spent so much time with Shedeur, he has evidence that they knew he was talented enough to be QB2 because they were going to hire him for $46 million. So how is it that Stefanski could get away with saying that Dylan was better than Shedeur because Dylan was on the stage in the Heisman ahead of Shedeur, even though he wasn't better? This should tell you how far along this planning and plotting goes back. This should tell you how that Heisman is used and weaponized against certain people. Remember this year, they were trying to give the Heisman to Arch Manning and he hadn't proved a damn thing. And then he looked bad. And now they singing his praises again. Understand this. They have evidence to prove why they were pre-drafted with him and why it is they truly pivoted away and why it is they ended up with him at 144. And I think he got it. They said, his house manager said, they think they were looking for a chain. That was just going to be a little gift. Because when they broke into that house, they spent way too much time concealing every inch of their identity, including bringing an illegal signal jammer so their phones could not be tracked backwards. But I'm sure they weren't using the signal jammer when they parked the car down the street. So there you go. Can't think you smarter than everybody. The most important thing about that robbery was not to get identified. And if they get caught, it's to not identify who hired them. Shedeur has evidence. And if he didn't, then they wanted to get something to extort him, because why else would you clean out the contents of his nightstand? Think about what's in your nightstand. I told you what's in mine. Devices. Personal stuff. So let's take a listen to Kevin Stefanski as he tries to cover, because I say he conceded, waved the white flag, forced to make a decision. It was not Haslam. It was 47. So Stefanski found out just how mysterious God's ways can be, because it happened the first time in the draft and they thought that was it. Then here we go. It happens again.
Shedeur will start this week. Obviously, number one job of a quarterback is to win. So excited to get that first win under his belt. And then next, improvement. And that's what young players do. Certainly young quarterbacks do. You get one game better, and that's just from working at it. So that'll be our focus.
All right. So let me just
Shedeur
say
will
this.
start this week.
Let me say this. He sure don't seem happy that Shedeur gonna start. He sure don't seem happy that Shedeur got the first win under his belt. He sure don't seem happy to talk about all the positives that he did. I know on certain things he was like, this, that, and the other. He sure don't seem happy though, do we? He sure seemed like he had to move off of Dylan. They had to force this man to get off of Dylan. Take it however you want to. Take it however you want to. They had to force his hand. Do y'all think Jimmy called up 47 and say, hey, can you run it back again? I need to get Stefanski off Dylan. Do you think 47 could see the play once again? He ain't say this time, you got to start him, but do he have to? If I told you to draft him and I don't give a damn where he go, and I didn't say he had to be a starter, but you better draft him. And now I told you so. So that meant he was right about him being drafted. So do I have to tell you point blank period, you better start him? No, I don't. But that's what they're doing. And it damn sure ain't this man's idea. Because as you can see, he wasn't too happy about it at all. He has to muster up all of the energy to put a poker face on, to not reveal how he truly feels. And he can never tell you all of the good in a very elaborate, comfortable way. It has to always be tense, short, to the point. He this, that, and the other. Yeah, we know he can say Shedeur's name. He says it. He does just enough to get a C-, but not an F. But he deserves an F in my point. And again, I don't even know why he still worked there. They must have to let him down easy because he know where the bodies are buried. But I know one thing. This man right here, and they know it, is a walking liability.
Shedeur will start this week. Obviously, number one job of a quarterback is to win.
Now, understand that. The number one job of the quarterback is to win. That's what they told him. Haslam told him, hey, how you doing? Let me talk to you for a second. Stefanski, the number one job of a quarterback is to win. So we're going to need Shedeur to start. That's what they told him. He repeating what they said to him. Remember how Dylan repeated likes and clicks? He's repeating what they told to him. The number one job of the quarterback is to win. So he's telling you without saying, so we're going to make a change to quarterback. No, they came and told him, Shedeur going to need to be the starter because the number one job of the quarterback is to win. Now, understand this. Andrew Berry knew Shedeur was going to get his opportunity to increase his draft stock, and Andrew Berry was correct. And Shedeur did that, right? So how do you get Stefanski to get the hell on out the way? I don't know. Maybe Haslam calls up 47 and say, hey, can you run it back? So I need Stefanski to get the hell off of Dylan so I can keep moving forward with my $975,000 quarterback. Either way, Stefanski wasn't happy about it. Stefanski thought he was going to roll back to Dylan. He thought he was going to have a conversation when he was non-committal, and it was going to be, since we made it this far with Shedeur like this, I'm assuming we'll still keep it with Shedeur. He got a call, and he probably got a text message at halftime. Because Shedeur had a damn good first half, even though they moved him out of the way and let Junkins get the 2 touchdowns. But see, that was futile by Jerry Jeudy to drop the ball, stop running. It wasn't the fumble. It was the fact that he stopped running. You could blame a fumble on anything. He stopped running. That was futile because Shedeur ran it back and used a running back as the wide receiver since Cedric Tillman and Jerry Jeudy, veterans who were out there, wanted to set him up. So, like I said, he found another way. He overcame all of them. And it's a damn shame that Shedeur got to keep getting out here overcoming his own damn team and play the opponents and try to beat them as well. But that's what he got to do. And do y'all think it will be any different next week? I mean, damn it, when 47 rolled through, you would think you would stop the shenanigans. You would think, okay, you know what? Just let it be. Just let it be. Is it going to be enough that Shedeur gets the start and Stefanski's still the head coach? See, this is why Stefanski is a liability. Shedeur get out there with Stefanski with this BS-ery and Shedeur get hurt, it's going to be a problem. But see, Shedeur quick with it. He saw the blitz coming again and he got the hell on. But things that keep happening that don't get called by the refs like they should, roughing the passer. They do that enough and he will get hurt. And then what they going to say? So this man is not happy about Shedeur being the starter because that's not what he wanted. When he told Shedeur on draft night, God works in mysterious ways, what did Shedeur say? For sure. Now, y'all know we Black what that means. When somebody telling you something and you don't really kind of like agree with it, but you ain't going to say nothing, what you say? For sure. For sure. You just going to go along with it because I'm not going to argue with you. But do you necessarily believe them? No. And I told y'all on draft night, there was a post. I wished I had saved it. It said, I know Kevin Stefanski personally, or somebody knows Kevin Stefanski personally. He doesn't want Shedeur on that team. It seems true. I remember saying it. I think whoever said that anonymous person who said that, they were speaking facts. See, he was pretending. And chances are, based on all of these conversations, like Andrew Berry said, we spent a lot of time with you. They pre-drafted this young man extensively. And you know, it wasn't all in person. It wasn't all on the phone. Text messages, emails. Shedeur has what? Evidence of the things that they don't talk about, that he was going to be the number 2 pick overall. And it don't matter that you changed your mind, but it's called a bait and switch when you do. Bait and switch is also illegal. It matters that he ended up on your team anyway. After 47 came through, there was a phone call. They pushed Shedeur back on the board. The owners got vetoed by 47, not Andrew Berry. 47. And he picked where he wanted to go. And it was the people who had spent the most time with, the Cleveland Browns, who pre-drafted him extensively, who he had proof that he could be number 2. So I want you to think about that robbery. I want you to think about how little they got in comparison to how much Shedeur has. I want you to understand. They don't sound like they ran off of no computers or nothing like that. But it does appear when they ransacked his room and was looking through his pillows and stuff like that and, you know, tossing up everything, which was making it personal. We don't like you like that. And took the contents of his nightstands. He has evidence. And they don't talk about it. Just like Tom Shady wasn't there last night, and they didn't talk about it. They didn't talk about his robbery. They didn't. They don't talk about he was going to be the number 2 overall pick. Their strategy with Shedeur being number 2 overall was to just not talk about it. Because when he got to Cleveland, because he was forced there, he chose to go there. They wanted to still say, well, we don't have to recognize you as such. So they said Dylan was better. Dylan was ready. Dylan was prepared. No, he wasn't. And when they got rid of Pickett, when they got rid of Flacco, it was like, oops, we got to roll with Dylan. Even Stefanski said in one of his press conferences, yeah, you don't have to think about putting Dylan out there. I bet you did, because it was never the intent. So if Dylan was never the intent to be the guy, why you draft Dylan and pivot from Shedeur? Did you think Flacco could take you all the way through? No, Flacco has not played a full season since 2017. So if you knew Dylan couldn't get it done, and you knew Flacco was the guy, and Kenny Pickett was injury prone, and you traded him first, and you got back your 5th round pick that you expended for Shedeur, what was the plan? To lose the season with Flacco in the first half and Dylan in the second half. The plan that was being executed until last week, when Dylan supposedly has a concussion and don't nobody know how the hell that happened. Is that why they wanted to make it seem that the Ravens was going all in on Dylan and Shedeur? But the Ravens took it easy on Dylan, and somehow he got a concussion. And had he not had that concussion, would Shedeur have entered the game? So Dylan's concussion was an excuse to pivot to Shedeur. And Dylan, I'm pretty sure, has cleared protocol by now. Because Stefanski said, Dylan going back to practice. And when he clears protocol, he'll be QB1. And no. And then here come 47. Somebody that Stefanski can't overrule. Somebody that Stefanski can't get mad at Haslam because you came and got me to hold back Shedeur. And now you telling me to put Shedeur in. I mean, Haslam could just go, I mean, it is the president. What you want me to do? Because what did I tell you? They got to let him down easy. Because he know where the bodies are buried. So if it's 47, I mean, you don't have to do what he says, Stefanski. I know what our plan is, but, you know, you got to push Shedeur in there. And then for the rest of the way, they got their $975,000 QB. Or did things change because the fans? Or did things change because the fans are upset? And this is all unplanned. And Stefanski's pissed off because I thought I was going to be able to roll with Dylan for the rest of the season because, I told Dan Lanning that'll look good for his program. How does it look that Dan Lanning's quarterback has been shelved? He was going to be an undrafted free agent in the first place till he went to the Manning Passing Academy. Now he's on the shelf and they don't want to say it out loud. Why? Do they not want to damage Dylan Gabriel's draft stock? But Kevin Stefanski was working overtime with Jerry Jeudy and Cedric Tillman to destroy Shedeur's draft stock. So Shedeur used his high football IQ and outsmarted their ass. And like I said earlier today, Stefanski think he gonna be able to put Dylan out there. The fans gonna be like, They're the leader of whoever it is that decided to wait to come to the stadium till 30 minutes beforehand. Probably gonna call up Haslam and say, if you put him out here, we ain't never coming. So I don't know what it is. It could be pre-planned, or it could be we got to pivot and to hell with you. But the point is, Stefanski just found out how mysterious in the ways that guy moves. Because he thought he was going to get away with this. He thought he was going to get his way the whole time. He watched Andrew Berry be in the background for weeks and pop out in Vegas, sitting up there in the booth. While he on the field trying to hold back Shedeur, here comes Deshaun. Why he make the trip? Somebody said, where was Dylan? I said, probably at the house. But Deshaun got to make the trip. And he ain't even started practicing yet. They say they not trading him. He just going to be around there next year. And he might. But Stefanski is no longer getting his way. So I want to get my way. When the hell they going to fire him? Because to be honest with you, I ask people, can Stefanski be trusted to coach Shedeur at QB1? This was before the announcement after 47 rolled through for the second time that Shedeur was going to be QB1. This I didn't know that. I didn't know this. Just like I didn't know this. I don't think he knew it. And here we are. My question is, when the hell are they going to fire this guy? He lied straight to these people. He picked Dylan and waited for the third round pick. He clearly doesn't want Shedeur to be successful. And even after Shedeur balled out and had one of the most historic games, what did he say? What did he say? Good job, Shedeur. Praised and glorified everybody else. And I didn't really give a damn about the ball, right? Because I already knew it was going to be people on the internet talking about, well, he gave this person the ball and didn't give this person the ball. It wasn't about the ball. You know what it was about? Respect. And he disrespected the young man after a historic night. And any head coach will be happy, one, to get the win. Two, that Shedeur did something that no QB, a rookie, for the Browns have done since the last 44 presidents. In 30 years. Like somebody else said, that kid is different. But Stefanski refuses to show respect. He didn't ask you to kiss his feet. But you do have to be respectful, because in the locker room, Stefanski's point was what it has been. Shedeur has been there. Cruelty. And when Stefanski, whether it was a text message or a phone call, communicated to Shedeur the first time, God works in mysterious ways. He thought he was sticking it to him because we not drafted you. I would love to see that communication. Shedeur has evidence. So now you know the timing. Trump, 11:33 a.m. Announcement about 1 p.m. somewhere in there. But Trump went first. And then Haslam did what he did in the draft, picked up the phone, and instead of this time calling Andrew Berry probably was waiting for Stefanski to get the call. People want to know what it is Andrew Berry said to Shedeur. You did a good job. I'm going to get you out of here. Now, you know how he's going to get out of here, right? I don't know if that's what he said. That's what I say he should say. He keep balling out like he is. And that's the key word, keep. They can't deny him QB1 trade. See, that's the hook now. See, right now, he's already QB1 for the Browns. If I'm already QB1 for the Browns and you want to trade me to whatever team you want to trade me to, you can't trade me as no QB3. You can't talk about I'm a 5th round pick anymore. Sure, I'm a 1st round pick drafted in the 5th round. And as long as people don't tie it back to who, the 32 that took him off the board, things just going to keep on pumping along. But just like Daboll got fired for his part in it, and it seemed to be another reason, just like Callahan got fired for making Cam Ward seem difficult and a news popped up over there, Shedeur has an ally or two. I saw another one, but I ain't going to say nothing. I would have thought that was the first one until I realized what was going on with Andrew Berry. He was flexing. Because remember, Stefanski brought in Dylan over him. He the GM. He was the one going after Shedeur. Because that's probably what Haslam and Berry decided. I asked y'all last night, which one of them is Haslam really playing? Seemed like Stefanski. Why? Because Berry ain't going to get in trouble for nothing. Even though they were somehow fire Berry. We like, how the hell you going to fire Andrew Berry? Not that I'm stumping for him, but how you going to fire Andrew Berry for losing games? That's on Stefanski. And that's how irrational some of these people are. Fire Andrew Berry because the season going to crapper, but it's okay. Stefanski gets a pass. No, Absolutely not. Because I say Andrew Berry needs to use his melanin to get Shedeur the hell out of there. And I think he just might. Because understand this, Haslam ain't brokering no deals. That's Andrew Berry's job. That's why he brought Andrew Berry to Ohio State versus UT. This who I want to get. He did the same thing with Deshaun, the same thing with Shedeur, but it ain't coming from him. He just gives the orders. And it's going to be the same thing with the trade. But now they can't. If they trade Shedeur as a QB2, the NFL better get ready because as Blade pointed out, Shedeur got way more than 6 million fans, and that's direct fans. We ain't talking about the Crumps of the world and the part of the world that's not into football, but that's leaning in and saying things like what? What you see happening with Shedeur is what happened to Black people when they find themselves in white spaces. So you put that together with Crump, Attorney Crump coming through, talking about what? This is what happens when you get Black excellence. They keep moving the goalposts as the excellence begins to rise. I would stop. I would just stop. Because you're pushing real close to target. You're getting real close to target, who is struggling in their third quarter again. Using Black people in their ads again. First, in AI, they was using Black hands, trying to convince us that was Black people, but that was AI. Anything to trick us to come back. We done moved on. And as much as they don't want to admit we are football fans, it's irrational to think that we're not. If the majority of the league is Black, you don't think Black people watch football? How many people watch Kendrick Lamar? Was it 133 million? And I saw a post today posted by Well Off Media of some people in Africa watching Shedeur at 1 o'clock in the morning on the continent of Africa. I told you, Black people are the global majority. So while the NFL want to run across the pond, we over there too. And they give a damn about how you treat Shedeur. They speaking up and they showing it in whatever language they want to speak. So I knew that move was eventually going to catch them. Because that's why they run across the pond. Oh, I want to be global. Okay. Well, you can't take your racial politics with you. That's not going to work. And it's not going to work over here. One of the reasons you're going over there is because you don't want to be held accountable over here. So now you're going to be held accountable over there and over here by us. Shedeur is Black excellence. And they tried to break him down and change him. And they lied about this kid. The whole goddamn NFL did. And they want to be quiet about it. And Tom Shady want to go into hiding. But it's Stefanski who's forced to announce that Shedeur is a starter as the head coach. Can Stefanski be trusted to not set Shedeur up and sabotage his game like he has every single game he has played for the Browns, Panthers, Rams, Ravens, Raiders? Shedeur has to consistently overcome Kevin Stefanski and whoever else he enlists to take down Shedeur. Whether it's the other team defense, the Ravens, or whether it's the wide receivers for the Browns, or perhaps some O-linemen for the Browns. Teller, number 77, that was the player you saw picking Shedeur up. His wife posted that photo. People loved it. Because last week, I had 3 people facing the stands over here to the right while Shedeur was saying, go to the left. And he was one of them. Came out and said at the end, after he was visibly frustrated and I felt like he may have deserved an Oscar. We've only heard his cadence 3 times. That could have been throwing Stefanski under the bus, or that could have been an excuse for why it is I would let my man tee off on Shedeur and do like this mid-play because I don't know if somebody else was offside. Don't miss me with that. I don't give a damn if you think the player's offside. You ain't the ref. Run your play. This is football, not rocket science. You don't get to stop in the middle and ask questions. Jerry Jeudy stopping on that play. People still pointing to gambling. But it wasn't even worth it because Shedeur still executed that play. They didn't expect that play to be a 66-yard touchdown. They thought he was going to be sacked. So Stefanski had to concede. He had no choice but to move off of Dillon. Get the hell off of Dillon. Because winning is the priority. And Shedeur can win. And we ain't going back. So why they don't want to name Shedeur the starter for the rest of the season? Cool. We'll just go week by week. But when to that Titans game, Shedeur better be the starter. Because I need to see Cam Ward versus Shedeur Sanders in the NFL. Don't rob us of that because it's going to be a problem. That's the game. Tonight we'll be talking about the 49ers and some other things. But the game is Cam Ward, who has won 1 game, versus Shedeur Sanders, who played in his first game and won it. Good friends that we saw from Vegas talking major trash about water. If you don't know, every single time they worked out together, it was hot. And I think they were in Texas somewhere. And Shedeur asked for water, and Cam got this thing about, you too rich or something like that, or, water is too rich or something. In other words, he needed to thug it out. So it was all in good fun, right? So some people said it wasn't. I even questioned it when they were at Vegas. I'm like, oh, Cam talking cash money trash. But then when he got over to Tennessee, he was talking cash money trash. That's just who he is. So Shedeur accepted him for who he was. So I suggest we do the same. But he has learned his lesson. Trust me. Trust me on that one. So understand this. This is why Shedeur is QB1. Could be for the foreseeable future, but we just taking it week by week by week, right? And I don't have a problem with it, right? You're not going to tell God who and what to use. It should let all of us know, don't be surprised. But this is what people are saying about Shedeur. This kid is different. He did something no one else has been able to do in 44 presidents. And y'all know presidents serve 4 years apiece or something like that, but there have been 44 different presidents. Or hell, 42 different quarterbacks, however you want to say it. This kid is different. But Stefanski can't show this kid respect in front of others. So Shedeur should never be in private with Stefanski. So for those that are trying to make up an excuse when it was said that Stefanski doesn't want to see Shedeur win, that's facts. He spent too much time on it, just like the thieves. They spent too much time trying to cover up who they were, and they practically robbed the liquor store for $10. That's the gist of it. You did all of that for $10. And look at the amount of time and the people Stefanski has to enlist. It proves that the game plan alone, that play calling alone, is not enough to stop Shedeur. That became obvious in the Panthers game when Kevin Stefanski called a pass play on 4th and 1. So they knew that wasn't going to work no more. So what they are doing, the Ravens game, 3rd down, blown coverages. Multiple times, 3rd down, blown coverages. This time, 3rd down, he had no choice but to make something happen with 3rd down because they keep wasting down 1 and down 2. Just like Pat Schumer, which ought to tell Coach Prime a lot. And that ought to tell us a lot if Pat Schumer still worked there next year. Because Pat Schumer and Stefanski need to be shown the door before the 49ers game. It's not a coincidence that we said that Colorado looked like Cleveland this year. It's true. But that needs to stop. And our quarterbacks need a sleeve. And hopefully Coach Prime go back for this last game and make sure they get some kind of sleeve. And if he can't have this year and he's still there next year, I hope they got a sleeve from the get-go, because that was the problem. And it would have been a problem for Shedeur if he didn't have a sleeve. But you see, they couldn't rob him of that. They know what they could get away with. That's the point. So, yeah, they probably over there somewhere plotting right the hell now. Because once again, we were forced into a position where you are concerned. We didn't want to draft you. You was going to go undrafted. But we had to draft you. And we was going to cut you. Once, twice, 3, 4, 5 times. We was going to bench you. But then we had to make you QB2. And then we had to make you QB1. And then we couldn't do the same thing in the Raiders game with the blown coverages for the O-line. So we had to shift from that to enlist some wide receivers. So O-line already enlisted and used up. Veteran wideouts already enlisted and used up and overcome. So what is going to be for the 49ers game? And it's futile. I'm going to tell you why. I don't give a damn what happened to Shedeur after this game. I already know the media is going to say the same ridiculous bull crap that they've been saying. But the reality of it is he's already cemented himself that he should have been drafted 1st round, top 5 pick as projected. And they lied about Shedeur when they said his arm was weak. And they lied about Shedeur when they said he had no mobility. And they lied about Shedeur when they said he was too expensive for the 1st round. From what I gather, based on available information, they didn't want to pay him 1st round money. So they gave it to Mason Graham and Carson Schlesinger, fully guaranteed contract in the 2nd round. 2 white players as opposed 1 black one. At some point, I would think I would just stop. Because there's too many people out here who know what's going on, who willing to talk about it. And if it ain't me, it's going to be somebody else. And if my message don't make it, somebody going to lift it and share it. That's just how the internet works. I ain't mad. So this kid is special. If he looks bad in this game, if he looks terrible, and I have no idea why they would have thought that. When they wrote this message, and this was Nick Wright, when they wrote this message, they were essentially telling you what the game plan was. Because we already know Shedeur balled out for the Browns in the Panthers game. And the only reason he wasn't made QB2 was because Stefanski set him up with the Rams. So when Nick Wright wrote this, he was expecting the Rams game to happen in the Raiders game. And this is why Vegas said that the Browns were going to lose, because they thought Stefanski was going to get his way. But he didn't. The Lord works in mysterious ways, don't it? That's why all of the commentary was, if he don't look good, why would you keep saying something like that? And it's just like Stefanski. He consistently harps on what needs to be improved, what needs to be improved. I don't have time, but maybe I need to go listen to him talk about Carson Schlesinger. Maybe I need to go listen to him talk about Mason Graham. And all he did last night, yes, Myles Garrett did well. But when you think of Myles Garrett versus Shedeur, Shedeur did something no quarterback had done over there for 30 years. That's where the game ball should have gone, or you should have had two. But they tried to pit Myles Garrett against Shedeur. They tried to pit Judkins against Shedeur. They won and pitted Jerry Jeudy against Shedeur. He fell for the bait. Stephen Tillman did as well. Next is going to be Dylan Sampson. When Stefanski made that post-draft locker room comment, post-press conference locker room comment, he was letting all of them know, I don't care what he did tonight. He ain't going to be our quarterback because we don't value him. Nice job, Shedeur. Cruelty is the point. The message. I don't care that he ball out. So Myles Garrett gets the nod because he was the most vocal. He gets the ball because he was the most vocal. So it should show you that they give them things to curry favor. Bribery. We've already seen retaliation. Already seen intimidation. Bribery. Currying favor. And now they're desperate because Shedeur has gotten further than they ever anticipated. And yeah, we might have had to draft him, yada, yada, yada. And now we might have to make you QB1. You could see when he was QB1, Stefanski tried to set him up already. Why would the 49ers be any different? Because 47 came through and forced it down his throat? Take it how you want. Look for the play. Look for the injury. The plays that cause injury. Like in this game. Roughing the passer, not getting called. Between two games, only called once, and Big Boy landed on Shedeur's legs. Look for the play. To move Michael Penix Jr. out the way. Understand what happened to Shedeur, what happened to Michael Penix Jr. this season. Michael Penix Jr. was QB1. Apparently, some people didn't like it. So his offensive coordinator kept calling redundant plays, repetitive plays. And I said, oh, he must have went to the Pat Schumer School of Offensive Coordinating. And I told the Falcons fans, they don't want to win with Michael Penix Jr. because he's black. Then Michael Penix Jr. almost walked off the field damn near in tears. He was put through the same hell Shedeur was put through, whether you know it or not. He's hurt. So Kirk Cousins got the nod, and they went down and beat the Saints. Let's see how long before Michael Penix Jr. get his QB1 job back. Because injury is what took Tyrod Taylor's job, and they gave it to Justin Herbert. And Tyrod Taylor never got it back, and he had to stop in Cleveland too. Hell, let's see if Michael Penix Jr. end up in Cleveland. Let's see if Spencer Rattler end up in Cleveland. Hell, let's see if C.J. Stroud end up in Cleveland. So the point is, pressure is the reason they had to put Michael Penix Jr. back. They put Kirk Cousins in, and the fans was like, we'll burn it down. But Michael Penix Jr. And guess what? He got injured. So nothing you can say now. It's almost like they at war with their fans already. It's not just about Shedeur. We have a good quarterback, and you keep trying to sabotage it. Now, if the Falcons fans listen to this podcast and like, damn, that's the same thing happened to Michael Penix Jr. And then people pay attention to what's going on with Jalen Hurts and understand why they moved Spencer Rattler out the way before they went across the pond, and now they get the game in Paris, and all of these black quarterbacks are playing in a 4 o'clock time slot. Somebody said they made it real hard to find Shedeur's game. Supposedly it just happened, right? It's like it wasn't intended. It's just that's just what happened, right? No, nothing just happens. They feel like they have the power. There will be no consequence, so they make things happen. And if the fans, so be it, got to push for Shedeur, then maybe that's why they just not calling roughing the passer. Look for the play. And that's always third down. All right, so let's see what y'all are saying. Yeah, they trying to hurt them out. They're not playing. 17-32 is not a joke. That's why I used the thumbnail I used. Shedeur should have been number 17 out the gate. They could have let him be number 17 and then found a way, like Jacoby Brissett, who was the 15th black starting quarterback in 2024. They could have let Shedeur make it through the draft, but then he would have made through with the $46 million contract. So what was more important? Not paying Shedeur or not letting him be number 17? The grown QB is full pie, so he didn't hire an agent. What he ended up with was an uncooked Pop-Tart that some people thought was a joke. Not a joke, but some people laughed at. He didn't get paid. So did they lock him out of the first round because he had the audacity to not hire an agent for a contract that is not negotiable? No. You know why? Because Cam Ward didn't have a contract either. They didn't do him like that. Number 17 of 32. Look at all the other black quarterbacks and how they're being treated right now. This is trying to, just like there are 0 black offensive coordinators, there are only 4 black head coaches. They're trying to reduce the numbers of black starting quarterbacks and watch it happen in the draft. Every year, I know since 2020, 2 to 3 black quarterbacks in the first round coming out being inherent QB1s. Jalen Hurts was second round. Somebody got injured and he got the nod. So if this year is the first year, there's no black QBs in the first round coming out as a quarterback because they already got Lenore Sellers at number 38. That's the second round. And that's close to the bottom of the first round, but it's still the second round. Pay attention because that's the plan for the foreseeable future. I don't know how many times 47 going to come through, but that's the only thing that makes things happen overnight. The fans have to jump up and down and scream and not go to games. But 47 come through like that. Why? Because the NFL spends a gaggle of money to not get in trouble with the executive branch of the government. Nobody else gonna hold them accountable. So that's why. So look for the repetitive themes this week, and you're going to find out what the play is. Look at the previous game, the Rams and the Raiders. Look at the third downs. It's 2 videos out there that show you every pass play for Shedeur. Go watch those 2 from the Raiders and the Ravens. Pay attention to the third downs. And then when we get to this game, it's going to be the same. Understand this. They haven't fired Kevin Stefanski. So he's still going to look for a way. We might have to let you be QB1, but we don't have to let you win. We don't have to let you score touchdowns. That's what you saw in the Raiders game. And it happened anyway. If they really and truly were doing the right thing, they would have fired him a long time ago. If they really and truly wanted to do the right thing going forward, he should be fired by tomorrow by noon. Facts. If they wait to the end of the season, they left him there to do damage. And they put him where 47 said he should be. So that's that. All right, I'm checking through the comments. I would say probably about 85% of people are on Shedeur's side. Even previous haters have been converted in saying we owe Shedeur an apology. Facts, something like that. Hey, Tina, how you doing? It say happy Monday, happy evening, How you doing? It said QB1 is Shedeur Sanders. That is facts. That is facts. And tonight we're going to talk about Shedeur being QB1 and what it means in terms of the 49ers. We're talking about the impact Shedeur Sanders being QB1 and what it means for Stefanski, that he's not getting his way. Andrew Berry can get his way. Stefanski can't get his way. Remember yesterday I talked about the shift. Stefanski being pushed off on an island. So far today, it's looking like it. It's looking like it. Hey, Sharon. Hey, everyone. I'm still smiling from yesterday. And the good news today. Woo, God is parting the Red Sea. Absolutely. It says, Stefanski, I know you are upset. Facts. It said, I'm sick of all of this. Yeah, I can see why, right? Because why? They keep at it, right? What did Julian Johnson Law say? Black people underestimate Jim Crow and how long they will go. Look how long Stefanski been going at this. This is what he's talking about. There are people that once Shedeur was the starter for the second half would have just went back to trusting Stefanski. There are people that because Shedeur played in the Raiders game and they won and they saw Stefanski on TV with Shedeur, they'll be like, oh, okay, he don't dislike him. He just want to win or something like that. And there are people that believe, because they heard Stefanski say through his own backstabbing lips that Shedeur will be QB1 for Sunday. There are people that will trust him because of that. He has done enough damage. He has lied. He has been cruel toward this young man. He has intentionally held him back, lied about his skill set, mistreated him publicly, humiliated him. You can't trust nothing. What you should be asking is why hasn't Haslam fired Stefanski? Because like I said earlier, he should have been fired after Callahan, over there in Tennessee, and before Daboll in New York. And now Chip Kelly is fired immediately after the game. That should have been Stefanski last night. Tell me I'm wrong. He should have been fired already. Why they keeping him around? What is he good for? It said, good evening, good evening, good evening. Hey, RD, how you doing? Good evening, Anthony. Yo, how you doing? How you doing? How you doing? It says Shedeur should have been the number one pick. Stefanski has the number one pick acting like, Stefanski acting like a bum, and he got the number one pick. Facts. You facts on that. Hey, Miss Pamela, how you doing? Hey, Doug, how you doing? How you doing? It said if Trump is involved, it's definitely a ritual. That's what you're thinking? Okay, it could be. You never know. It said grand evening. What she said, sports and family. It has been an incredible day. Listening to all podcasts on Shedeur. The haters are mad. God got Shedeur. Much respect. Facts. And thank you for letting us know. Why Yeezy said, I knew it. That's it. 17-32. It said, is Trump friends with Haslam, or is Haslam sensitive to criticism? Understand this. Haslam is a supporter of Trump. He's MAGA. So what does that tell you? I knew 47 was also not allowed to buy a team in the NFL. I love that he keeps receipts. That's what people said the first time. They said, oh, okay, he let them know, y'all didn't want me to buy a team. So I'm going to need you to draft. I'm going to need you to do what you don't want to do. And then coming back again. So I asked you, I'm like, is this Haslam calling in a favor for 47 to get Stefanski the hell off of Dillon? Because I'm the one that enlisted Stefanski to use Dillon. I allowed it to hold back Shedeur, but now I want to switch it up. Or is this 47 doing what he did the first time? Flexing who's really in charge because y'all didn't want to sell me no team. And I got other stuff to do, so I don't want your little team now. But do as I say. I'm the boss. He is their protection. Let's see what happens. It said they are just all in the same brotherhood. Yep. It said especially since they have been involved in all those political bribes. Interesting. It said, hey, family and queen, how you doing? Glad I was able to make it. Okay, Alyssa. Yeah, y'all can listen in. If you can't listen in, maybe you catch the next one. It said with his fake self. It said Trump was not allowed to buy an NFL team because he would help destroy the USFL in 89. Okay. So that was about 89. Okay. I forget he tried to buy that team and they hated on him. Yep, they did. It said Cleveland, I believe 47 told him to draft him, or I will take your team and sell it for nothing. I will buy. I don't doubt it. Because I keep saying, don't be surprised if his friend that own the Rockets that want to buy the Pelicans and the Saints, get the Pelicans and the Saints too. Tilma Fertitta, the one, remember they went workout at UNLV? His name was on the building. If you look at the video with Shedeur and Cam when they worked out, when the rapper Cameron came out there, you're going to see Fertitta Center. Isn't he like the ambassador to Italy or something like that? The way things are today, they may not be tomorrow. I knew what you meant. He might sell the team. It's that the art of war. I love it. Yep, it is definitely the art of war because there's a war happening, whether people realize it or not. It said no matter what anyone is saying, we all know Shedeur should have been the number one pick in the draft. Right. And not just Dillon pushing Shedeur off the Heisman stage. If Shedeur was on the Heisman stage, they would have had a tougher time with Shedeur not being the number one pick. But see, remember, Lamar Jackson won the Heisman. He should have been the number one pick. They made him number 32. And that was Isaac Newsom coming through and drafted up to get him on his way out. They couldn't fire him because that was his last job duty. And then they tried to change him into a pocket passer. And you see, he never became a pocket passer, but they still working on it. They still working on it. Definitely the Art Award. Totally agree. Yeah, I thought they drafted him to be traded. Right. That's what it seemed like. And you would think if I draft him to be traded, that's a good point. Who said that? Miss Kiffin or somebody? That's a good point. If you would think if I draft Shedeur to be traded, why, if I'm Andrew Berry, why would I sit here and let Stefanski ruin his draft stock? So you got to look at the trade with Flacco a little different. Remember, they were saying Andrew Berry shipped Flacco out to the Cleveland Browns, to the Cincinnati Bengals, which upset the Pittsburgh Steelers, and rightfully so, right? And I said it. The Steelers head coach Mike Tomlin and Berry, because of the draft with Shedeur, they're not on the same page. And then he went to the Bengals and he went over there and showed out. And people began to look at Stefanski. Now, there's a couple of people you could say been trying to tell on Stefanski, but it seems to be falling on Haslam deaf ears until today. So it says Shedeur had a shrine of cops for the teams that he wanted to play for. I think that made them upset too. A shrine of caps. No, they all had the caps. Miss Pamela, if you go back and watch Jimmy's draft day thing, pre-draft, whatever, they all went to the store. That's why I thought they gave me some money. They all went to the store and bought a bunch of caps. And I knew Jimmy said he wanted the Carolina cap. So they all had those caps. Yeah, it wasn't just Shedeur. That was just something they do for the draft to keep them guessing on where they're going. It said, yeah, he tried and purchased the team in the NFL, and they didn't allow him to be part of that. Okay. That's facts. So he brought another team. $40 million discount. That's what they said. We got him at a deep discount. So you have to always you have to let it play out. Hold them accountable. But when I say let it play out, means sit back and observe. If suddenly they're pivoting to Shedeur to QB1, right? Regardless of how, it's a sudden shift to QB1. He plays out the rest of the season. And if he's allowed to ball out, they only 3 games back, I think, from being able to be in the playoffs or something. Then that's the $975,000 package. And a lot of people not going to know about that one. Until only a few people going to know about that. We're going to find out. It said, I am impressed. The Sanders have a lot of clout. They sure do. That's why you got to think twice about coming for them. It said Jimmy wife saw that and told Jimmy to call Andrew. Probably. That's true. It says, so that means they are looking for a player like Dylan since Shedeur's play style is outdated. Yeah, that's crazy, right? Imagine saying Shedeur's play style is retro style, outdated, and you going to get Dylan. That's when I didn't like Andrew Berry for that, because you know damn well you were gonna get him at number 46 into a number 2 for $46 million, and now you're saying his skill set is too expensive. See, that's why I still say this is about money. The grown QB didn't hire an agent because he wanted to get his full pie, and he ended up with an uncooked Pop-Tart. We got him for a deep discount. He gonna outproduce his draft stock. The alternative use for the selection. Buy low, sell high. That's what Andrew Berry was given. But the problem is he himself devalued Shedeur. So he played a part, right? He played a part. Now the question is this pivot to Shedeur, was it planned from the jump to get him to ball out for you for $975,000 instead of $10 million? Whatever Travis made the first year. But here's what they should have known. If the Jacksonville Jaguars jumped when Travis went to fishing with Coach Prime and gave Travis his $30 million up front, if Coach Prime had that kind of influence for Travis, what the hell you think he got for his son? 47. See, they missed that. They missed that totally. If you know I'm influential enough that you would give Travis his money on a Sunday afternoon after he been asking you for it. And he come fishing with me while I'm over here fighting cancer. You don't know that though. And you give him $30 million up front. So much they're asking if the Jacksonville Jaguars got fleeced. If that's what I could do, and Travis is not my son, I just call him that. What kind of influence you think I got for my son? 47. Checkmate. They totally missed it. They totally missed it. It said not easy to sue. Right. It's not. It's really not. It's not, because they're going to always shield themselves. And that's what they hang their hat on. They know it's not easy to sue them. They know how to hide themselves. They know how to scapegoat others. The first thing the New York Giants did after the draft, and it came out that they was lying on Shedeur, they fired their scout team. What they scout team do? But they let Daboll stay there, and now he gone. So if you go by the theory of Daboll getting fired, again, Haslam should have been fired. Because even though, not Haslam, Stefanski, even though Stefanski didn't trash Shedeur in the draft, he did lie about Shedeur. And that's becoming evident, right? And I told you, Shedeur got some kind of evidence, or had, unless he had that in the safe too. And if he's smart, he probably did. But I believe that's what they was looking for. I feel like the whole time Stefanski's talking, he's thinking and talking at the same time, because now he has to ask himself, am I in trouble? Yes. Am I going to get fired? Yes. The question is it going to be during the season? Is it going to be in an embarrassing fashion? Or are they going to let him sneak out the back door? Or is it going to be at the end of the season and they just going to say, yeah, we just want to go in a different direction and keep his reputation intact so he can get him another job? Chip Kelly got fired last night. Stefanski, they probably on the winning side of things now. With Shedeur, if Stefanski is allowed to set Shedeur up, it might be a little rocky. But understand what happened to Michael Penix Jr. The same thing. They wanted to move off of him. The OC was setting him up. The fans didn't like it. They put Penix in. The fans didn't like it. I mean, Kirk Cousins in. The fans didn't like it. They went back to Michael Penix Jr. And guess what? They started playing conservatively, using Bijan Robinson, a.k.a. Quinshon Junkins and Dylan Sampson, the running back. And then he got hurt. So now it ain't nothing you can do about it. Shedeur better be careful. He see the blitz coming. He got the hell on out of there. They did not expect that. They did not expect that. Because he didn't see it coming in the first Ravens second half game. So they don't think he's smart. We know he's smart, but they don't think he is. That shit, they don't think we are either. We being black people, they really don't. If I don't want Shedeur to be a quarterback because he's black, and I don't want no black head coaches and OCs, I only got Andrew Berry for his melanin, so people won't see me being racist. They'll see him and will be confused, and it's working. Why would I think that I like black people? Why would y'all think that? Why would you think that? So it said, yep, Trump's comment about Shedeur playing good is the reason that Haslam had to say too legendary is starting against the 49ers. Yep, and that's what it takes. That's what it takes. And that's why I said Stefanski was repeating what they told him. You know, winning is the most, is what matters. That's what they told him. If you listen to him talk, he not stringing up no thoughts. He using canned responses. The same thing when it's Shedeur, or the same thing when it's Isaiah. Yeah, they did good. It's a lot that need to be cleaned up, though. In other words, never willing to give these guys their praise. Not a coincidence. Stefanski is the reason they have Dylan, drafted Mason Graham instead of Shedeur, drafted Carson Schwarzenegger, gave him a fully guaranteed contract instead of Shedeur. 3 white, 9 black players. And I told y'all, they are an experimental team, and they was working to see if they could turn all them skilled players white. Not a coincidence, guys. Not a coincidence that the first 2 players in the second round, one being Carson Schwarzenegger and the other one being the Texans, were the only 2 to get guaranteed contracts. And the Texans or the Browns were involved in Deshaun Watson's trade. Remember, Trump told everyone, no, I didn't hear that. It said they will make sure he loses a lot of money. It's easy to get. They will make sure he loses a lot of money. Yeah, I think so. I think so. I think so. It said Haslam doesn't like bad publicity. That's interesting. So, you know, that's just interesting, right? Let's see. I'm sure Stefanski works with all of them, not just Shedeur. Yeah, I don't know. I really don't know what Stefanski does other than spend his time trying to set up Shedeur. I mean, that's just what it is, right? I'm sure Goodell doesn't appreciate the president getting involved. That's interesting point, right? I don't know how they get down, but what I do know is when the president was at the halftime show, the Super Bowl in New Orleans, he wanted end racism removed out of the end zone, and they gladly complied. And after that, you could see the boldness. It was like that was a green light for all the racists to come out the closet. And it's been on like then. So when they got to the draft, the last thing they expected, they thought they could do what they did to Shedeur because he said take racism out the end zone because clearly he must not care about black people. That's what they were thinking. So they thought they would tie Shedeur up to a tree and beat him in front of all of us. And here come 47. And they're like, oh shit, we didn't expect this. And then again, and I said, when you hang out with people like that, remember, he was just on a Fox broadcast during the game. Remember, I talked about that. I said, oh, they let Trump, come on and talk during the halftime show. I said, so they comfortable. And it's true, they comfortable again. And he come. So they thought if I let him talk at the halftime, we could carry out the rest of our plan with Shedeur and all these other black quarterbacks. It's not just Shedeur, but that's who we see, right? And then he come today. So I would just stop. If it was just me, because he'll lose Canada, I don't know, right? I don't have the protection I thought I had. I don't know, because I didn't expect none of this. So there it is. They're talking about Stefanski was reading the script. It's a new day. Shedeur is a better QB, hands down. All the way around. It said Goodell's dad was a big-time politician. Oh, really? I think a lot of them are somehow hooked up and affiliated. I sure do, including Haslam. Wasn't his brother the governor of Tennessee at one point and have a business school at the University of Tennessee named after him? He does look miserable. That's facts. It said, love you. Oh, thank you so much. The ghost to G J Speed. The ghost OG J Speed. Okay, thank you. Thank you so much for supporting the channel. I appreciate it. It says Stefanski is done. The film doesn't lie. Thank you. It said the movie keeps getting better and better. Thank you. It's definitely a movie. Now, if somebody want to make a movie, it's a whole lot out here that you can make a movie with. So that's facts. That is definitely facts. It's a lot to make a movie with. It said Jim Brown had the same problem. What she said, what? So when Jim Brown was in NFL, he had the same problem as Shedeur? That's interesting. I have to look into that and see what his NFL experience was like. I know he was an actor. I know he played in the league. I felt like he was an actor because he was so popular. He became an actor or something like that. But outside of that, I'd have to look into it. Thank you for telling me that. That's good news. Okay, that's good info, I mean. That's interesting. So a lot of people have the same problem Shedeur had. Like I said, Shedeur has, we're going to go with 8 million fans. Possibly, we're going to go with 10. Let's just go with 10. We'll just put the indirect and direct together and say Shedeur has 10 million fans and followers. And just on social media. We got people that's willing to speak up. That's Huge. That's huge. And even though they wanted to ignore it, they can't after today. They cannot after today. That's facts. All right, we're going to get ready to get out of here. We'll be back at 10:35. We're going to start diving into the 49ers, what they look like, what's going on with them, and some other stuff. Because I have a lot of people send me a lot of stuff. So I can't get it all in one show. So this is my third time going live today at 10:35. So we'll try to cover as much as we can today. We'll just be back tomorrow. But here's my question to y'all. Do y'all think that Stefanski should be trusted to call a game, to strategize, to truly win and not sabotage Shedeur against the Raiders? Although he's unhappy that Shedeur is QB1. Can Kevin Stefanski be trusted to coach Shedeur Sanders? Call a game fair and square against Shedeur Sanders. Let's see what other players he recruit. There's my answer. All right, I'm going to get out of here. I'll see y'all later at 10:35. That Tom Shady, that's his name. Tom Shady, Jerry Judas, and somebody called Stefanski, Jerry Judas, and Tom Shady. That's the three names. Tom Shady, Stefanski, and Judas. There you go. We don't have no name for Tillman yet. We got to come up with Cedric Tillman. But yeah, they just exposing themselves all out of here willy-nilly. So we'll see y'all later at 10:35 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Thanks for watching What She Said. I'll see y'all tonight. Thank you for the support on the live stream. I appreciate it. And I'll see y'all tonight at 10:35. All right? Have a good one. Thanks for watching What She Said Sports. Subscribe. I'm on my way to 7,000. That's what it is. 7,000. I'm at 57 something. So let's see if we can get me to 275 more subs before Christmas Eve. Yay! All right. I'll see y'all later. Have a good one. See you at 10:35 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on What She Said Sports.